going to call the City of Vernon workshop meeting for Monday, March 6, 2023 at 5:30 to order. Candace, if you help me, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you today for allowing us to gather here together, and we thank you for the community that has shown up today. We ask that you guide the council to make the best decisions for the community, and we ask that you keep your hands upon our Mayor Gary Owens and continue to heal his body and make progress and bring him back to us soon in Vernon, and keep all of our community safe. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 1, Rick report.
You first. Basketball just wrapped up this last week. Great year, great success. We had a great turnout for our championship games. We were able to honor them kids and give out some rings for them. And it seemed to be a great season. We got some add-ons that we would like to add on to the gym and work on, obviously. I don't know if y'all been out to the actual basketball gym and seen the walls and paint and stuff like that. So I believe we made some money. I'm not sure on the totals yet. I still got a little bit more to turn in to be able to see what our profit was on there. We turn around and put it back into the gym. But other than that, it was a great season. Hopefully y'all didn't hear any complaints from it. Okay. Baseball season's kicked off. We're fixing to have our first night tonight, practice. We had 154 total. That's 2 Wii-ball teams, 3 T-ball teams, 2 7-8 baseball, 1 7-8 softball, 2 9-10 baseball, we're one way away from 1 9-10 softball, possibly 2 11-12 baseball, and we are 1 away from 1 11-12 softball.
That's great. Let me back up just a minute before we go forward. I do have one question about the gym. What's the light situation out there? Because there were some. I shook my head no about hearing anything, but I did hear some stuff about the lock. So
at the beginning of the season, or did after? Okay, so once about that time is when we had ordered 4 lights. So we got 4 lights in there, 1 in each corner, and it brightened it up quite a bit. So we got 4 brand new lights in there, LED lights. The rest are just randomly the ones that are working, the ones that aren't. And so our plan is to continue replacing with the LEDs as we go.
Okay, do we have more working up top and not, or do you know?
We do. We've got there's 19. Is it 19? I think 19 lights total when we only replaced 4. But those 4 made a major difference. So
I've been to ball games in there, and it's not bad at all.
Okay, good. All right, continue.
That's all I have for baseball. That's where I'm going now. We need a couple of coaches. We need like 2 coaches, so I'm going to go see if I can round up some coaches, get somebody normally steps up. So that's where I'm going now. Other than that, the only other thing I had is I got approached by a Mr. Clayton Betts, which is I didn't get his title, so I may be wrong on this, but I believe he's the president of a nonprofit that runs a travel ball team. I believe he said it was 10U travel ball team that has expressed interest in Shady Grove to where they could come out and technically, for lack of a better word, or actually we kind of said it a couple times, make it their home field to where they can come out. They've got parents and volunteers to come out and willing to do the work to come out and clean up and recut and de-weed and bring clay in and do work on Shady Grove to where they could practice on it regularly. To where they can come out, practice normally, and do scrimmage games. And then they've even expressed interest that while that's going on, that they could bring in other travel ball teams to the Sportsplex, and then we could have tournaments at the Sportsplex. With that, we've discussed just really briefly that obviously we have the light as a cost issue there, so we've still got to discuss kind of specifics there, but he did express interest in maybe we can set up a concession stand while they're doing their scrimmage games, and then the rec would benefit from that. So it's just starting to talk. I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention. He said he might have somebody here, okay, to represent them. So if y'all want a few minutes to introduce yourself or say something, you're more than welcome to. I'm assuming so. But I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention.
Okay. Do I need to go to the podium or?
It doesn't.
Okay. Well, I'm Jason Bailey. Clayton Betts is head coach and president of the team. This is Kevin Klein. He's another coach with us. And yeah, we've been in conversation with Tim about using the facility, maintaining it. From our understanding, it hasn't been used for a few years. Really hasn't been mowed, but we were excited for the opportunity to take care of their facility kind of as a community outreach. Kind of be a win-win. We could use it as our home field, and also the city would get the field maintained essentially for free. I guess our question would be, we would want to know what, and I don't know if Michelle, the city attorney, would need to write up something, a kind of draft of what the city of Vernon's expectations would be and our expectations if we'll have a lot of volunteer work, but buying equipment to maintain will have a lot of cost.
We want to dump a lot of money.
We're going to put a lot of money into it, so we wanted just to prepare something in writing. I didn't know if we should bring that to y'all, or just so our expectations, your expectations, everything's clear, cut and dry. It's in writing.
That is.
And really, we're open for questions.
It is a city park.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to be very careful with that.
Right.
I understand that.
Because our citizens, if they want to use that park.
Right. But even the playground, we would clean it and everything, but we're not expecting to keep people from being out there using it or anything. We just want to be able, if we come in, we want to do the work on the field, maintain the field. And when we come into practice, if somebody else is on the field, we'll have the right to say, hey, it's our time to practice. You know what I mean? Because we want to make that field look, better than the high school field. Honestly, we want to do some real work out there.
We have, I believe, we still have an interlocal agreement
With the middle school.
with the school board, with the middle school about that. The reason they are not using it now is because it was not being maintained properly and they couldn't keep it up. So that's something that we're gonna have to look into as well.
I think they're practicing out there.
Are they practicing out there again?
I'm
I know
pretty
they
sure.
haven't been a lot of agreement, but a couple of years ago, they stopped. But they may be practicing out there again, so we would need to check on that too. And if council was to come in, kind of agreement would most definitely have to be in writing.
You hadn't been down there, Tim? We
It's
talked
been-
about Shady Grove.
It's been mowed. I know that. I've been down there.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, but now in the same time that they approached me with that, Trey has reached back out to me that they were looking at getting back. So Trey's been out there the last week, but their season's fixing to be over. But I think he's looking towards doing a 13-14 after middle school's over, trying to reach out and give them boys more practice. I think is what he's working on, and I've quickly mentioned it to Trey, but like I said, we're just starting the conversation. We haven't kind of got there yet. But like I said, we got a couple of details that we would definitely have to just sit down and hash it out and just make sure we're all on the same page and understand before we go anywhere.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to look into it on, we do have an agreement with the school board, and it is city property as well, meaning anybody can go out there and use it. And of course, if the city was to come in sort of agreement, I can already tell you that Michelle's gonna require, insurance.
We have
insurance.
all that with us.
I do think that the middle school might be practicing there though, because they had called about it just, a month ago and asking about the bathrooms.
Well, and that's why I'm asking, because somebody reached out to me that's affiliated with the school board too about Shady Grove, so I think we just need to.
Yeah, I don't think they did
Let's
last year.
talk about it.
I don't think they practiced on it at all last year. They abandoned it because they were trying to use the high school field. But I think now that the high school coach is kind of picked up in baseball, I know softball's been using across the street at the Plex here more. And then I think that, like I said, Trey called me within the last week. He's been out there spraying some poison and cutting some grass, trying to help a little bit. I think they're going to try to. I don't know what their exact plan is. Like I said, I haven't got the full details on it, but I did know that he's trying to do it after school season's over. He's trying to get them boys more. And we're looking at like a Dixie Youth, 13U, is what I think we're mentioning.
Something that I don't believe the school board is using or has any use over is the field out back.
Is anybody using that field?
The one right back here. I mean, the only thing we use on that is some of our overflow practice goes over there, but that's after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, but that's on the
Weekdays,
track,
we wouldn't
not
be
at-
practicing on it till after 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, So So if there was middle school coming out there, we wouldn't interfere between each other,
Yeah.
most likely.
I guess we just need to get some more information and get things lined out. I mean, it's not something that we can
Right.
vote on tonight anyway. Certainly we need to have more
Yes,
information
Timmy,
to make a decision.
I know Josh had called me about practicing down there, because there's practicing high school and the middle school's practicing at the same time, and it wasn't working out, and Josh, his daughter's playing middle school, and, I knew he still had, an agreement with him, and I don't know if he's using it or across the road,
I
since
spoke
y'all
to
ain't
him.
been practicing.
Also, and what he told me was they were planning on using it. The problem was they were having to get permission to transport the students. And he was gonna get back with me on that. He hasn't yet, so I think part of them are and part of them aren't.
Like I said, the extent of our conversation ended in, they were wanting to do, they were in talks with Dixie Youth on doing that, because we're 11, 12, and doing that next age group up. We just don't have it in when we sign teams up, we just don't have that option available, so they were talking to Dixie Youth to add that discussion. But normally, their practice is, like he was saying, their practice is immediately after school, and they're done by 5 o'clock. It's what they've been doing over at the Sportsplex anyway, because they've been practicing at the Sportsplex for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I'd like to see something in writing.
Absolutely.
And let our attorney look at it. That'll give us a chance to find out what's going on with the usage already out there and if it would even work. What do the rest of you think? That'd be okay with you guys?
It's fine, we should,
Just
who should we be in
Get it to
contact with?
Candace, to the city clerk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you
nice
all.
to meet you.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything else?
That's all I have.
The only thing, Timmy, where we stand on the bathrooms out there? Two people's called me about the bathrooms. I know Jason's not here. I know, it's supposed to be more across the road or under the road.
The board's been done.
Yeah.
I don't know if the lines have been put in or not, but Candace, you ordered the porta potties.
Yeah, there's porta potties there.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, which you said too, so that's what's there. And, the board is done, but I haven't they haven't told me what else they've done past the board. So, that's all I know.
Yeah, right now.
How many people do you have out there? How many people do you have out there in France?
Tonight, all 155 and their parents will roll through there. But that's just because it's the first night, introduction to coaches and talking to them. But on any given night, you're talking about 2 time slots of practice at 4 fields, so 18.
So are the porta potties enough or do you need more?
It probably wouldn't hurt to have 2 more in there. Because right now, I couldn't trust those bathrooms enough not to leave them open. So when I get there, I'm gonna make sure they're locked. Because the last thing we need is them backing up in the sessions.
Well, can I find out tomorrow from Jason where they are on the bathrooms before I order 2 more porta potties?
Yeah. Because the last time I spoke to him, I thought he said the pipe was in and they were getting ready to do it, but I don't know.
Okay.
He hasn't updated.
I do have one last thing. April 1st is our opening day, and you're fixing to see all that flyer and media and everything come out, and then of course we'll kick it over to you.
You send that to
April 1st is what?
Opening day.
Does anybody else have anything for the rec director? If not, you're free to go do what you have.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Number 2, mayor update.
Are we doing them or public participation?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Participation.
Public participation.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have my number, the number? I got cards in there, but let me give it to you this way.
Hello, I'm a concerned citizen of the Church of God by Faith of Church Street. We received a letter back from last year, July the 7th, 2022 at 3:12. Mayor, Mr. Gary Owens was the mayor, is the mayor. So anyway, it says we anticipate completing the HUD environmental review in late August or early September. They could pass that big drive. Some of y'all didn't get it. We just need a update on the road that's been paved because I went down there and took pictures of the road and it's in devastating. That's a devastating road. A lot of cars been torn up and stuff on the road. So I know that the car's been torn up. I presented to you all about getting their vehicles fixed, so try to rectify the problem. Is there anything that you all can do? Well, right here it says it'll be done between 4 and 6 months. So that was September 2022 to February 2023. And this is March. So we need to rectify the problem with what you all plan on doing with that road on Church Street, on the south side. It's already completed on the west side. We need to know when it's completion on the south side. Because it's messing people's business up. Also, the bus transportation. Now on here it says that you all got a grant. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. 1,074,249. Y'all see that? It's on there. Okay. Could you all explain this letter so we all can go back to the Church of God by Faith and the resident of that area? This the letter that you all see in front of you. We didn't know what we all plan on doing with the traffic.
Did everybody, yeah, I know you can do one, okay. They brought the letter in and so I just made copies of it. It says that about 60 days after, construction should start about 60 days after, so it should start around July 2023, which is a few months, from now. That's in that first paragraph. And then, I'm not sure why these other grants are in here because they don't have anything to do with the paving of Church Street. The septic receiving station each grant is specific for what we're allowed to do, and those aren't part of that grant that paves Church Street. I'm gonna hand it to our attorney so she can read it also.
Okay.
Well, and also, I'm not really sure why you all were sent this, because this is not even a letter, this is correspondence in an email about more than one issue. And it's between a previous clerk and a grant writer.
Right.
So I'm not sure why this was even actually sent out to you. And this is the first time that I've seen this. I mean, we've been discussing Church Street and the paving of it for that long or longer, but this is an email correspondence, and I'm not sure why.
It was sent to all the residents there. Okay, now back in September the 16th, 2019, that Commissioner Trey Hawkins announced the county has agreed to assist the city repairing and paving a portion of Church Street. So I did get that one, and that was a legitimate because it was in the newspaper.
And that was the first part that they paid.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't forgotten about trying to find that from you. I know it's been 3 weeks, but
Right.
I hadn't been able to find all that information, and we had a death in the family too, so I haven't
Right. So
gotten
I
that
need
for
that
you.
projection, and also is the road will be completed by July 2023, or just this letter that was sent out by the state, because all the residents have this.
No, it's.
Says they're gonna start in July.
It's gonna start in July.
Yes.
See, I need to know something to report back to the church that the road is gonna be started. Now, this right here, this letter that came from, I guess the clerk, I don't know who the clerk was at the time, Miss Karen White. Now, if we come back July 2023, it's not done, so we are requesting an audit to see where all the money and stuff is going, because if this was paid on west, why wasn't it paid on south?
It's two different, it's actually two different projects.
So I just want to make sure, because
And
here,
it's not gonna be complete in July, it's gonna start.
it's gonna start in July.
Now,
Okay.
and you're saying it's gonna start in July, but it's when the government, the the government decides to release the grant money, which none of it has been released yet. So they may not, I
Okay.
mean,
I
I'm
know
gonna be up front
Yeah,
with
but
you.
I know what you're saying, I know what you're saying, but in 2019, it has that Trey Hawkins, it says here, section of Church Street which runs from Highway 277 in the vicinity of Circle H convenience store to Moss Hill Road and Vernon High and Middle School has been in various states of decay for many years, with no funding source in place for anything but temporary repairs. What they are doing temporary repairs, the only thing they're doing is them big old sinkholes, they're doing little patches. They're doing little patches. That's not gonna solve the problem, because once people ride over there, all that concrete and stuff is coming out of there and messing up people's windows.
Ms. Davis, I understand what you're saying, but that particular project, like you said, it
Right.
stated from 277 to Moss Hill. That was that one section. It's a
Right.
completely separate project from what we're trying to get done now, from Moss Hill out, down in front of the church that way. It's two
Okay.
completely different projects.
Okay, but then when y'all ask for this money for that, I know you're saying what you're saying, Becky, I know what you're saying. But when the county commission did not know that the roads was that bad until y'all asked for help on that road, because it stated in here that y'all asked for help. Because in here it stated that the high volume traffic is high volume traffic on that highway. And school buses are traveling that highway with those kids and stuff also. That's what my concern. I was wanting to make sure that y'all listen to the citizen of city of Vernon, because I know I used to go to city council and stuff. I know how the grants and stuff work. But someone need to come out and look at that highway, because when I took pictures, I even rode on that highway today. I took pictures. Somebody on the county, on the city commissioner, come out there and look at that highway and drive down there.
I've been down there and I've got pictures as well.
You know, if you
I've
drive
got
down there and the
photos
roads
and
and
But
stuff.
is buses still coming through there?
Yes. Yeah, they're coming off what? Holmes
School
Road or
buses,
something?
they
Yeah,
still
they
coming
have
through
kids
there?
and stuff that live down that road, that come off that dirt road.
They ain't gonna do it,
Yeah.
cause they keep tearing, and the big trucks keep
Yes, they come
going
through
through
there.
there too.
And it's a
I
sign,
see them,
and it's a
I see
sign
them
that
big
says,
trucks coming
not
through
coming through
there.
there, and they still coming through there.
Well,
Since they paved that road down there, there's a lot of traffic come
Come
that
through there
way
now.
and come through on Church.
And a lot of the big
Yes.
trucks are coming through there,
Yes.
and that's just tearing it back up.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
But none of us here are arguing with you. We all want it done.
right,
When this side of Church Street was done from Moss Hill to 277, it's my understanding that we piggybacked
Off the county.
off the county on a grant that they already had. And then that's how we got that done. And then we had to do a whole nother grant in order to get the funding to do this that we're trying to get done now. That's
Okay.
supposed to start in July. We don't have the funds for it yet. That's why we
now,
have
do
to
y'all
send
have
somebody
anything
out
that
there.
can really cover those holes temporarily?
Well, he was supposed to get a whole pallet of stuff, what happened? Where
He
did
picked it up
Yeah.
Wednesday, and it's the hot patch, we had to special order it, he picked it up Wednesday. Now, I don't know, because they've had a lot of other things going, so I don't know if they patched in between Thursday and Friday or not, I'm not sure.
No.
It's not patched now.
Now, what I mean by the patching is they can see one hole and they'll patch that little hole. We need it where you can at least patch the whole thing, not just a little, what he doing is like a spoon and going, we don't need that.
Well, he said that stuff, the new stuff they got is like concrete or something that they put in there, whatever it is, and he was supposed to be doing that.
Well, he probably did, but he
No,
only
he
doing
ain't
little
done that. She
patches
just
of
said he
like
didn't
that
get,
small.
he didn't do it
He
yet.
didn't do it,
He
okay.
didn't do it yet.
So I just wanted to bring that to you all attention, that, you know, we're a concerned citizen, and we just want to know the update on that highway. No, we're not upset or anything like that, we just wondering, so we can, our vehicles to stop being torn up, and then that church is by there, and the school buses coming through there, and to rectify the problem of all these trucks and stuff. If
Well,
you get a hold of,
they're making it, cause I'm sitting
well,
there.
they
at my
do come through
window.
there, just get in touch with
And
us,
we
because
talk-
on
we
DOT
talk to
also, get in touch with us, and I can put a stop to it.
We have talked to the sheriff's department over and over
Well, you got
again
called
about the
DOT.
trucks coming through there. There's a big sign down there that says no truck.
Mm-hmm.
And they come through Pompey, huge trucks.
We have council members that have even run them down and talked to them.
They
And
ran
told
them
them
down.
stop
Joey
already.
talked to them.
I got tired of running them down.
Well, if not, we'll get in touch, we'll get in touch.
Well, the
with
thing
you.
is, I told Miss Gwen, she's called me. Time you run them down, you run one of them down and get the company's name, and I tell them, you got notified the sheriff's department, Larry Pippen wore my phone out. I told Larry, time the sheriff's department gets there, they gone.
They got
You know, and then the school bus issue, I think part of the problem, when the other side was paved, the county got involved with school bus issue. The school bus travels that road, and several council members in the past didn't want the school bus on the back road.
Right.
Because it's no vehicles, period, no big vehicles, period.
Right.
And, but anyway, the school bus does travel that road, every day. And, people still complain about school buses.
So they're coming off Home Valley now?
Yes, some of them are home Valley Road, that's correct.
So they're not coming through, because I don't see no school bus going up Pompey
School
like
bus
they
coming
used
off
to.
Holmes Valley Road,
Oh, and
going
coming
to
straight
Church Street,
through.
and then go around, yes, and then go toward Vernon High School.
Yeah, because I never.
I traveled y'all this road probably the most
Mhm.
as a council member, and I walked that road with Larry Pippen. That's the worst road we've got.
Yes.
And, you know, with that said, I wished our county would step in. Years ago, the county did step in.
I called them already.
And help the city out, but it's a shame you don't go 3/4 of a mile and it's paved.
Right.
Now, I do know the county has passed to pave the rest of it to Pompey Street. Now, when, I don't know. They just passed it 2 meetings ago to pave the rest of it where they stopped at.
Okay, so
Which
when
is
I
around the
go
curve.
to, sometime, you know, sit in the meetings of the county commissioners,
Well, I'm going up there for Wednesday to
Okay.
sit in a meeting with them.
Also, this council
Well, will
has
you give us a
already,
report about what they're
This
doing?
meeting,
Wednesday
okay.
at 9 o'clock, because it's, well, we have another issue, but well, I'm gonna address that too, why they can't help
Yeah,
us.
but right now, please, and you all rectify some of that problem temporary, because that road is bad, and we do have, but I don't know what your employees doing, but they just put a little scoop, like a spoon, and it's not helping at all. It's not helping. So whoever on the city,
Terry,
Work
I
for the
also tell
city.
you that this council has already decided that when we get the funding and it starts, we've already agreed that it's gonna start from Pompey and come to Moss Hill,
okay,
not Moss Hill that way. Remember, we all agreed on that
okay.
in a previous meeting, so it is gonna start down there. We're just,
Well, it is gonna happen, right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
As far as we know, we're waiting on the funding. You don't, what I'm saying is, this is grant money, it's not city money that we could just go out there and do. We have to wait on the grant money to come to us. And we have to go through all the processes that they make us go through. So it's kind of a hurry up and wait for us as well. I can imagine how frustrated y'all are. We've been frustrated with it for a while, but we don't have the funds yet. They haven't been released. But the plan is for the project to fall in line as soon as the funds release. And I believe that Ms. Candace, you did go, you and Councilmember Gwen, to a meeting
Yes, they went to
and
me
tried
down
to
at church.
explain
Yeah, and we
the
had
grant
that.
And we
process.
still didn't really get the full of it, but yes, I understand what you're saying, but how.
Well, and
one
you've
of your
been on
city
council
workers-
before, you know how the
Right,
grants
right,
work. There's-
Right. So
there's
just
only
get,
so
I
much
guess
we
one of
can
your
do.
city workers to come back out and please tell them don't put no scoop out there, just keep up that whole road, cause I'll be coming back. Tell him I'll be coming back and I'll see if he's gonna put something out there. So, okay, we'll give him till
Well,
July
Joey suggested
2023.
maybe, will
Yeah.
Bill Asphalt do anything? What do you think, Joey?
I'm gonna talk, and I'll tell y'all, I'll talk to Wesley Griffin. He's in that line of work. It might be just better on all those, I'll see what it costs. He will cut you a break, but it might be cheaper on all those just to mill that road for right now. We might be looking, on the safe side, we might be looking at a year before we even start anything over there. You know, I ain't gonna promise y'all nothing.
Right.
That road should have been paved years ago.
Right.
I know that, I travel. I hunt out there, I visit all of y'all. You know, I'm out there 3 or 4 times a week. That's the worst road I've ever traveled.
Yeah, but.
It is. And I understand where y'all coming from. I
Right.
told Miss Gwen I couldn't make it to y'all's meeting, but it's a shame. It's a shame it's on the city, shame on the people that live here has to travel.
Yeah, I understand about the grant money and stuff, because I've been on the city council 17 years ago, and I know, you know, about the grants and stuff. But, and I know how some of these city workers get kind of lazy, and they, doing lazy on their job, don't want to do nothing, but yes, please have him come out there and do something, you know, to rectify the problem,
And do the
and help
whole
us out a little bit. And we'll be coming back to the next meeting. Anything else you want to say, Ms. Dollar?
No, you said it
All
all.
right, you sure?
You said what I
Ms.
wanted, I was
Davis?
supposed to say.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. all right.
Anybody else got anything to say on Church Street?
No, you just. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very
It
much.
was good to see.
Nice and easy.
Do we have any more public participation on any other matter?
No.
Yes, sir.
I was listening to the sign sheet.
I'm sorry, I didn't get a sign-in sheet.
Oh,
What's your name?
William May,
Yes, sir.
and I'd like to ask the city to see what they can consider, since you already have signage, Slow Children Lane on Church Street, that, you might do the same thing for, Roach.
It's on number 5 on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we might do the same thing for Roach, because, my neighbor that, couldn't come here tonight, he's across the street, he's Daniel May. He has an autistic child, and since the Church Street on Moss Hill to 277 has also a deaf child sign, I wonder if they could do something like that all on Roach. Because Roach has no speed limit sign, which means that according to the state law, that would be business or residential, that would be a 30-mile-an-hour zone, since it's not posted. But when people come off of 277, they're coming off at plus 35, and they're keeping the speed as they go through on Roach. That's the old Roach.
Going to D's,
The
basically.
part that wasn't realigned next to 277.
Yes, sir. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is it, I'm just wondering, it could be at the entrance. Right?
Right, yes, like
Like when you turn it.
like the.
What are you talking
the
about
area
on Roach?
From Moss Hill to 277. It'd be like that. I also noticed that for Church, that section, you dropped it down to 15 miles an hour from 20.
Where?
On Church Street. The signs were 20 and now they're 15, which means people will be speeding more.
Come out on.
I haven't
That's
seen the
not
sign,
us.
so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We
I
don't
just- I was-
send the speed limit sign there.
Yeah, apparently that's been changed because they look fresh.
Michelle, we don't set the speed limit signs in town, do we? I think that-
Yeah, because you have 25 right out here.
We've not discussed any of that, so I don't know.
The speed limit.
It's sort of non-standard because they go over.
Where at on Church Street?
Oh, it's from Moss Hill to 277.
Oh, okay.
It's 15.
Yeah, it's 15 now. Yeah, I know. I took out a picture, and I noticed the sign looks new now. Which I know that none of the school buses, which because of the weight, they shouldn't be going down that way. But the 15 or so round trips a day, it gets exciting because you're running buses down with a narrow road. But yeah, I'd like the same thing for maybe a consideration of a sign, maybe on Roach too. If you could drop maybe the speed limit or something like that.
Jason put up a sign at the other end of church, where the church is on Church, last week, at,
Pumping and that.
so I don't know if
What,
he moved
put
the
a speed
sign.
limit sign in?
He just put up, there was one there, but not at that part, so he just added one so that they would be slowing down right there by the time they were coming by the church.
You're not gonna slow down.
Well, but, you know,
You really
Well,
need
it's-
to call.
Excuse me. It is 15 at the entrance to 277 and at Moss Hill. But yeah, it'd be nice if the speed was a little bit lower on Roach, since it's not posted. And since I was mentioning it, that, yeah, if those school buses come down Church Street, they probably will wear away the road a lot faster like it was before, because they're all over the weight limits.
right.
Instead, they could go down to through the light and around and then back.
They don't want them to do that anymore. They used to do that, come to that light and then turn, and cause the police was right there. Remember, he used to be right there at that caution light,
Well,
and he would direct them out. But now, I guess they
I
decided
thought
to
they
take.
still did that.
I would
No,
guess-
they go down Church Street. They don't
I
come
would
out there no more.
During spring break, there was about 8 vehicles I watched go
They would
around.
stop.
They went around the cop.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And I would dare-
it's unsafe not only for the kids. Me personally, I would rather see them going down that road than to be a school bus get hit on the Highway 79 and a bunch of kids get hurt. That's just my personal opinion. The roads that they build today are a lot different than what they used to be 20 years ago whenever those roads were built, or longer whenever those roads were built.
And we have begged them for a light there. We have tried to get a light there, but they said it's too close to the other one, and I know I go to cities and lights are closer than that. But they claim the reason they can't put a light there is because it's too close to the one down here at the square. But I go into cities and lights are close.
There's
So
been
what
like
are you
5
talking
in
about?
this stretch.
So Mr. May, you're asking for a slow children at play sign
Yes.
on road?
Yeah, on the old section of the road. That was the part before the realignment, the 277 realignment.
I don't think that's anything we have to vote on, we can just agree on that, can't we? For Jason to go put up a sign.
Okay.
I mean, you may want that in your minutes, I mean, in the future, if you decide to change the speed there.
Okay, I was talking about the signage, but go ahead, I guess, and just put it all on the agenda for our regular meeting, so we can vote on it.
Okay. It would be nice too if you could borrow one of those registered speed limit signs, and place it on Roach, just to see what the speed is. Because when they come off of 277, they would see that they're doing probably over 35. And that section should be 35. Because everybody, when they come off of 277, swings.
Where it wise off, if you're coming from Chipley, where it wise off and you go to D's.
Okay,
That's where he's talking
Oh,
about, that
that's the
section
street.
of road.
okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that's the section there. Because I couldn't understand, because we don't have anything to do with that other road out there.
Right, that's the
We can't
section of
go to
road
speed
where it
limit out
wise
there.
off, where Miss May's old gas
Gas
station
station
is.
is.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, yeah, because when
I
they
was
come
thinking
up,
277, we
since
can
they
put
come
them right about
in at that speed, they can swing sometimes 2 or 3 lanes to get the turn,
Right.
regardless of who else. You can tell by the wearage on the stripes and everything. Okay,
That's such a short space.
All right, we're gonna put it on the agenda so we can
okay.
make a vote on it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. May. Is there any more public participation? Okay. Number 4, fire chief updates.
Oh, he's running late, he just messaged a little bit ago and I told him we'd shift him.
Speak of the devil.
There he is right there.
Come on up.
Just come on.
We're waiting on him. I'm taking off no way. He eating all the time.
She's not cutting any slack tonight.
No,
How are you?
pretty good, you?
Good.
All right, first off, so equipment wise, we have a little rescue truck over there, and we're fixing up the April gave us for a brush truck for the time being, and we need some tires for it. I got 2 quotes for it. And the price on them, one quote he gave me for the tires, estimate total would be $1,062.98. And that's from Southern Tire from Panama. And then I got 2 quotes from Sun's Tires. One is at $1,380. And then another set at $990.
That's when you get. What is it, 900 and what?
90.
$990.
Why the 2 quotes from Sons? Why is it 2 different
Different grade or,
grades? That's what that's. So,
no, Shaq, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You remember that you can do $1,000 because we upped it to 1,000.
Oh.
Without it being approved.
which means you can go ahead and get the $990 tires.
Yes, but listen, how It's what kind of guarantee what kind of warranty you got on these tires?
What plow are they?
Huh? You know what I'm saying? Because we don't want you on the road with this thing and running up and down the road at a fast speed and blowing out and stuff.
I mean.
You got any kind of warranty on them?
We won't be offering those goods.
Huh? Is it good? Huh?
Yeah, but it's a small.
They won't never leave, like, get off heavy motor.
Well, if you want to go that route, then you can go ahead and do that. If you want us
If
to
you
approve
think
a different amount.
if you
you're
think they're
have to
gonna
wait.
be good.
Troy, what you think?
What was the load range on them tires? Were they E's or D's on the cheaper tires? Did they say?
They didn't say.
What I'd recommend is find out what the load range is, because with us carrying that water in there,
Yeah.
the best load range we can get, what you think you need.
So
So,
we can push it off to the next meeting.
put it on the agenda. Find out between now and then.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us know which ones you want.
Alright. Alright, and then, so we're gonna have a little issue. For this county coordinator we got. And we will be sitting down, having a meeting this Wednesday.
You need to have Troy come up and tell the story.
Yeah, it involved Mr. Troy, but it happened to pretty much everybody on the department. But this last time it was with Troy. And I had him writing a statement, and his wife wrote a statement as well.
Will the county commissioners, any of them be there, one of them?
I think they have Mr. Griffin on there. Yes, they got Mr. Griffin on there.
Okay.
It'll be March 8th at 9:30.
I'm sorry, y'all, I'm trying to take notes. What? I missed it. I didn't hear.
It's a meeting with the county, Mr. Mass will be there, the county administrator,
The county.
that's the coordinator, Justin Leach.
And our vice president, you're gonna be there.
I'm going.
And then, but yeah, we've been, like I said, I'm letting Troy, if y'all want Troy to speak up. I had him write statements on this last one, but it's just a recurring issue that just needs to be settled. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Y'all want to hear from me?
Yes. You have a complaint, right?
So basically what happened, we had a large brush fire, up off of Cook Road. And, the county coordinator was over on the east side of the county and, basically burning down 4 structures and ended up having 2 firemen, having to be put in an ambulance. So we got called out to assist Henson's I called Henson's and had them assist us. They got on scene first. Forestry was already there. We pulled up. I got Henson's truck out of the woods because he was all alone. We're very limited on manpower. So as a safety standpoint, I got him out of there. We went and staged on a structure further down where the fire was headed. I set up command. That's what we're instructed to do. Once command is set up, it's not just given lightly. You don't give it away lightly. You have to evaluate every circumstance in every situation. I was calling in manpower and other resources to assist us with this situation we had so that we could cover the church that was out there, and also we had to cover the cook's home at the same time. Every resource that was coming in knew that you had to stop by instant command, get your orders where you're supposed to go. Everybody stopped by me, got their orders, and went where they were supposed to go. Mr. Leach decided to come in off of the south end instead of coming in off the north end, which is where I was staged, and he decided to go ahead and start setting up his own system down there. At that time, I tried to radio him. Tried to get him on the radio so that we could meet face to face. He didn't respond. twice. He didn't respond. The county called me and asked if I had communications for them, and I said, no, I'm trying to reach, 1001. He said, okay, so they tried twice. No response. Next thing I know, he calls me and wants to know where I'm at. Now, everybody else knew where I was. He comes down there, jumps out of his truck with his phones in his hand, no radios, and he says, I'm taking command. Thought for a second, and I went evaluating everything. I said, no. I said, everything's already set up. I need your assistance. That's your job, is to assist us in doing what we need done. He didn't like that. Basically told me you can go to the house. And I said, well, that's interesting because command isn't given. It's not taken, it's given. It's turned over to somebody that has more experience. Well, I've got 33 years volunteer and paid. So I've also been in charge of large structure fires down in Panama City where I retired from. So I knew at that time that everything was set up right. We were taking care of what we needed to take care of. Forestry needed to do what they needed to do. Also, Chief 10 came in from the south end, didn't stop to get his orders, and so we had some animosity going on, you could say. So I informed Chief what was going on. He told me to stay my course, continue, and make sure that everything was taken care of. Finally, Chief called Leach. Leach decided, because I told him, I said, what I need you to do is go down there and relay every bit of information that's going on from forestry to me. He said, well, we'll have a meeting after this. I said, that's fine. I'm not scared of a meeting. He went down there, I didn't get any information. So this isn't the first time something like this has happened. But this incident, after what happened over there, I didn't feel was a good incident for him to take over and for us to lose any more structures in the county.
Well, I happened by that day and saw what was going on, saw where the fire trucks were at the goods. We stopped and spoke to somebody. And then I had a conversation with our fire chief who filled me in on what was going on. And there have been several instances, I'm sure y'all are all aware, with this fire coordinator. My concern is, I've been on the fire department in Vernon, I've been on the fire department with you and your wife. I've never, and I expressed this to the chief, the fire coordinator's job is not to show up on scene and take over anything. Unless his job description has changed since I was on the fire department, that is never done unless he's called out. So, and generally whoever shows up on the scene, especially in your own jurisdiction, is over that scene, period. Unless, a lot of times fire departments turn it over to forestry, and forestry handles it. But as I understand, y'all have a good relationship with forestry, and we've not had any issues. I've not known of us having any issues with the county until of late. Maybe in the last 5 or 6 months, there seems to be issues.
And if you don't mind, I interrupt. Forestry actually called us out to this one. They were already there. Yeah. I want to make sure that that's clear.
So, I'm not sure why, if this is going on with other fire departments or if it's just Vernon, but I would, and as I told the chief when I spoke with him, he initially wanted 2 members of council to go to this meeting. I told him that was. That's it. I said it could be, the mayor could go or one member of council and the clerk could go. So I suggested that he contact a county commissioner, because in my mind, going and meeting with this man and the administrator is not going to benefit Vernon in any way unless one of their bosses is also in the meeting. That's just my opinion.
Do you think this is a conflict of interest for me?
No, absolutely not. One member of council can go.
Attorney?
Yeah, I didn't.
Do you think this is a conflict of interest for me? Because of him?
No.
Just want to make sure.
Not at all. But my concern was there would be no need to have a meeting with just those 2 people if their boss, one of their bosses isn't there as well. So I asked him, that's why I asked earlier if the county commissioner was gonna be there. Because otherwise you're not gonna get anywhere. It would be my hope that something could be worked out where we can all get along and everything be good, but, and I hope that that's the case, I hope that that's what happens.
Oh, I hope
We
so.
won't keep in good standing with the county. It seems to me like, and I'm not trying to speak out of turn, but everybody has a job duty, and when you step out of those, you tend to cause trouble that's not necessary, which seems to be what's happening here. And like I said, I don't know if it's just Vernon, or if it's other departments or what, but it seems to me like maybe his bosses need to rein him in a little bit.
And just so y'all know, he hasn't responded to another incident since that happened. Any of the incidents that's been going on in the county, he hasn't responded. In other words, he hasn't been out there like he has
To
been.
any more,
Any more fires or calls like that.
Well, that's
He has not
good.
showed up to any, for any of the county.
Wow. That's no good.
So,
No, actually, that's
actually real good,
That's
because
really
they can go
good,
ahead and do their
because
job.
he's, like I said, unless that position's job description has changed since I was on the fire department,
It hasn't changed.
doesn't happen that way, so.
I got it from HR.
It's a power issue is
well,
what
he
it is.
doesn't understand that our fire departments are volunteers. They don't have to help us. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
and Vernon's coverage
we
area
don't
is
need
still
this kind of
96
animosity because
miles, and
they're
like I said,
volunteers.
I really want us to be able to get along with the county, and I don't think that we're gonna have a problem with it. I think once they find out what's going on, that's why I asked that you have a county commissioner be there.
Well, Wesley is supposed to be there.
Because that way they can go back and that can be reported at their meeting, what's going on. Because apparently they don't know what our fire department's been dealing with.
I've shared with some of the county commissioners already some of the problem, before we've talked about it. And nothing's been done, obviously, so I'll make a couple more phone calls again and see what I can do.
Michelle, do you have any suggestions for them for this meeting that they're going into?
Not really. It's management
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Let us know what happens in the meeting. You'll be there. You
Yeah.
can report back to council, and I hope that once they realize that there's a situation, they'll step in and do something with their employee. So.
We'll take care of it.
you
And
have
we
anything
appreciate
else?
y'all volunteering.
Yeah, appreciate y'all a lot.
Yeah, I guess all the council members knows what's going on, right?
What?
Or between the coordinator and all.
Yeah. And that's why I say, I think that his employees
His
need
fault.
to know what's going on. All right, does anybody else have anything on that? Reemployment hearing update.
We had an unusual outcome in that proceeding. So the hearing officer found that Ms. Cross had voluntarily resigned from her position due to health reasons, and that her leaving her employment was not the responsibility or the fault of the city. So she found that Ms. Cross was entitled to keep her benefits, but that the city would not be charged for those benefits, which is not an outcome that I've seen before. And I had asked the clerk to confirm with DEO that that is the result that they intended. So I do have some heartburn that this result will be audited months or longer down the road, and the administrative side of DEO will send us a bill and expect us to pay for all the benefits that she received. As of right now, DEO has confirmed that the findings are what they are.
And it is in writing.
It is in writing.
That we don't have to pay, but we probably will later on down the road.
I'm just saying, y'all know I don't trust anybody.
We're gonna look on the positive side of things then.
Well, a lot of times, even if we deny it, she get an increase.
Well, I mean,
sometimes.
she's really not supposed to be eligible for benefits because she voluntarily quit. And
I didn't know that she quit for medical reasons.
she put that in her
She did put
resignation
it in
letter.
there?
Mhm. She didn't tell anybody before she submitted
But
the
she had done
resignation
that.
letter. But Jeremy was not expecting that outcome because he said she didn't present really anything in the hearing, and the hearing officer had to continually tell Ms. Cross to stop interrupting as he was trying to present his argument. But right now, I would say the decision was favorable to the city because as long as we're not getting charged for her benefits, if the state wants to give her that money, they can. I think there would be a pretty substantial cost for us to actually appeal that decision because we have to get a copy of the recording of the hearing, and then we have to have that transcribed by a court reporter, and that's going to be several $100s.
Well, it's not costing the city anything right now, so
let it
if down
go.
the line, they're audited and that's reversed, then that would be something then that we could fight if we needed to.
Probably, Jeremy and I are still looking at whether or not we would be bound by the decision that she was entitled to benefits if we don't appeal at this point. But like I said, we're trying not to spend too much time on this because grand total, I think she had $4,000
around that. And we have already paid it. They've said because y'all know I called about
Get our money back.
to get the money. And they said that they're giving us a credit. So I don't know then if that's going to be a check or a credit. So if it's just a credit in a year and we get audited, then it's already there anyway. But she did confirm, highlighted it on our copy, in writing, that we are not responsible, that the former employee does get it, but we don't have to pay it. So.
We've already covered the signs on Grove Street, Roach Avenue, I'm sorry, that's gonna be put on our regular agenda. Deputy clerk's position.
Do you want me to do that mayor update since we skipped it just real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Two kinds of mayor update. Our mayor did check in through his wife this morning and ask about some of the projects, road paving like Yellow Jacket or any of that. And then while he's not been in, he normally really stays up, tries to look into FEMA, the different funds that we have. So I've been trying to do that, and I have gotten part of those extensions that we have been working on. I've been dealing back and forth with Carol Bruni, which is with FEMA, and part of that is now approved, at least the administration part. So that is some money that we know, and they've given us till 2024 on that. The other things are still under consideration. But those are things he normally updates y'all on, so I just have been working on it a little bit so that it didn't get set to the side. And so that's where we're at with that.
And he's still down here, right?
He
I talked
is.
to him this season. He's doing a lot better. He got a longer couple weeks in there still. But he's doing a lot better. Yeah.
That's good news. Is that it, Candy?
Yeah, that was it. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Deputy clerk position.
Okay, so everybody knows that Miss Vicky's last day was last Wednesday. And I just need to know how to proceed.
Didn't you say you wanted that to be a part-time position?
I feel like it would save the city money, but that's y'all's will,
There's not enough work. It's not really enough work for full-time, she said. She don't feel that there's enough work for full-time.
I'm doing both of it right now. This is the busiest week of the month because bills just came out. I'm not overloaded at all. Other than if I have a meeting, if I'm in the middle of a meeting, so like I have grant meetings or whatever on Zoom or whatnot, that's the biggest issue. So I think it's a part-time thing. I may be thinking really stupid about it.
Well, what you can do.
But
you
here's
can
what
try-
I think. I don't mean to offend anybody. $13 an hour is not much money. Okay, so if you hire somebody for full-time at $13 an hour, they probably really need a job. Well, then there's gonna be a better job that comes along for more than $13 an hour, and they're not gonna stay. But if you hire somebody part-time, they probably don't need that job so bad, or they'd be out looking for a full-time position. They just want something to do, maybe some spending money, maybe they would stay. That's just how I'm thinking about it. And it would save the city money, because you wouldn't have to pay benefits.
Well, if you want to try that for a while, you can, and if you decide that you need a full-time, we can always go in and hire a full-time.
We're gonna have to advertise it.
In anyway, for a part-time, but I'm saying if we do the part-time and you decide later on that you want full-time, we can always change it.
So,
Advertise.
advertise.
That's
Are
part-time.
y'all all in agreement with that? Is everybody in agreement with that? Joey?
Joey, he gonna take up.
And I mean, y'all tell me, because I'm
Well,
gonna
if
do
you-
what y'all
that's
tell
you.
me.
But you
I
want
really
to-
don't believe
Well,
that part-time.
it's fine with me right now, but understand, Candace, you know, the city's always had a clerk and a deputy clerk, always. And I'm not saying what workload you got, but vacation comes up, people get sick, and, things like that. And I know what load, we all know what
Load
load
is
you got
in
right
there.
now, that you got. But I just don't want to get you so stressed out.
That's what we're saying.
And you
You
get
wanna
called,
leave.
the
I'm gonna
city's
do
always
whatever
working
y'all wanna
behind.
do. I'm just telling
And
y'all
you wanna
that,
leave.
I'm
But
just
yeah,
telling
the
y'all
city-
that
city-
it's not a full-time position, that's all
The
I'm
city's
saying.
been behind for years and finally got caught up. We caught the audience and all up. And we're back on track from that aspect. But the thing is, I don't want you to get burnt out. I don't mind hiring a deputy clerk, for part-time to start off with, but in the long run, because you need a vacation, you need time off, we all do. And you got a family, you got a husband, you got an extra job, you go to school, I know what you do. So,
This is just my
You telling her
first
business.
full-time job, but that doesn't have any effect on what I do
like I told
here.
you before, you don't sleep much. But,
I
but
sleep 4
anyway,
hours
you
a day.
understand where I'm coming from, Kansas.
So
I don't
advertise
mind
it
it.
as part-time and full-time and see what comes of it.
And I understand where you're coming from for money wise, but, you know, we can try our part-time.
For now.
It would save the city money, and, I'm into saving money. Miss Gwen slacked a little bit over here on saving money, but anyway.
I haven't heard from previous deputy clerks that the position probably could be part-time.
So, we'll try, that's fine.
Well, yeah, you could always stipulate that, when vacation time comes around for you, will you work the full week? So someone's sitting here, that kind of thing?
Oh, if you're asking me, I mean, that's what I just figured, if I had to go to a meeting or something, they could work that whole day.
Yeah.
If we could get part-time with some stipulations like, she's talking about, are you willing to work these days and be called in at this time and stuff like that, then it can work. Because I get what you're saying too, and that was the first thing that I told Candace when she mentioned, and other people have told me too, that could be a part-time position. The first time I worked under Laverne, it was. And it moved to full-time after that, but if we could put some stipulations or get somebody that would be agreeable to do vacation time or extra call-in time, it might work. I just don't want to get Candace burned out. That's my only.
That's what we're saying.
That's my only concern.
I get it, y'all just have to understand that if I have to have it doing something. It's gotta be doing something. So if I'm sitting there and I ain't got nothing to do, I'm coming up with another
Okay, well,
business to open.
here's a question on that note. Ms. Vicky had, before she decided to leave, she had just volunteered to take over 4th of July, Easter, the parade.
Christmas.
Now the parade could go back, could be, because you probably didn't even know that she had offered to do that. So you're good with the parade. You're over the parade. But what about, the 4th of July is red. So we got that covered. And
We're gonna still,
red.
No.
well,
I know it is Rick, but we need the help.
No, that's what I'm saying, but we don't have that volunteer status anymore that we had, so.
We can't help what we
She
have.
was doing that while she was bored in the office, so that's why she wanted something to do. I'm just gonna tell it like it is, and
So maybe you could contract that kind of stuff out.
Well,
Y'all can hire temp workers, you can hire, you know.
but even a part-time worker, that could be part of their,
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell y'all, when I was deputy clerk, part-time and full-time, parades, Christmas, all of it, that was part of the deputy clerk's duties, job duties. That was just in it because there was, there's billing and taking the money and then helping the clerk do what she needs to do, and then you gotta find something to do. So that's the way it used to be.
now one thing, I'm not as organized. So, there you go. Just throwing that out there. Walk in, look at the desk.
I saw it before you got here, trust me.
Well, it is better than that, but I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's not in boxes somewhere, but.
So do y'all wanna advertise part-time, full-time, how do you wanna do it?
Try part-time for now.
What about part-time with the possibility of full-time?
There you go.
Okay.
That works for me.
Sounds good.
Okay. Cell tower inquiry. We got some paperwork on that.
We got an email from a company that wants to, basically wants to get a contract for us, is the way I read it. They go out and seek businesses that would use the towers.
But what are they asking for permission to put a tower up?
So this company, this is like a recruiting group that markets space on your towers to lease to other companies, so that the leasing company would pay you all a flat rate, and then they're gonna turn around and lease out that space at a profit. Y'all can lease your own space, you don't need to do it.
We don't do that.
I mean, I appreciate that folks need to make money, but
We don't need, that's why I said that I don't think that's the interest to the city. I don't.
Anybody else have anything on that? Medical marijuana center.
Okay, so, y'all know I don't like reinventing the wheel. So I searched across the state, to try to find some ordinances that I felt like would, try to address some of the concerns we all had about these kind of smoke shop businesses, that are operating, as well as the medical marijuana treatment center regulations. So, I've been able to confirm that, as far as these dispensaries and the, growing facilities, you are extremely limited in the regulations that you can adopt. Basically, there's just nothing other than however you would regulate retail pharmacies. You don't have any regulations on retail pharmacies. So you have to allow these centers, wherever you would allow retail pharmacies, you can only charge them the same business license or tax that you charge a retail pharmacy. So your options are to regulate it like a pharmacy or don't allow it at all. And this particular ordinance is drafted for a community that does permit these facilities. So you'll see some exemptions in when it's talking about prohibitions on the sale of drug paraphernalia. They make an exemption for these licensed facilities that do sell things that can be used to, by the consumer to use marijuana.
Let me ask you this. If we decide to say no, we don't want it at all, that doesn't stop pharmacies, like another pharmacy, which I doubt, but regular pharmacy from coming in here.
No, it
We
wouldn't.
can just, we can set an ordinance, say we absolutely do not want cultivation or medical marijuana centers
Yes.
in our city.
You can absolutely do that, because it's still illegal under federal law to possess it and grow it, and all those things.
Well, I did what I said I was gonna do, and I talked to some people. And I said at the last meeting, we've got, I know, 11 to 13 churches here. I said at the last meeting, there were gonna be people say, let all the business come to Vernon that wants to, but the majority that I've spoken with says, why? Why would we allow this? And from my point of view, it's a no for me. I don't know how the rest of y'all feel, but first of all, it's not benefiting the city. It's not making the money for the city. It's not benefiting the citizens in any way. The pharmaceutical part of it, if you're gonna have 2 or 3 employees, they're not gonna live here. They're not gonna be spending a lot of their money here. The cultivation part of it, for me, is a big no because of the smell and all of that. And the space inside the city limits. Now, if they go outside, if the county doesn't do anything, they go right outside the city limits and put up whatever they want, and we can't do anything about it except go to the county.
Pretty much.
But we can stop it from coming inside the city limits. I personally don't feel like we need either. I don't see the benefit of it. I know people, and I know people that are card carriers that, you know, use it for medical purposes, and I know some people that don't and do it anyway. But from my perspective, it's not beneficial to the city or the citizens, and I don't think we need it here. And the ones that, even people that live here that have those cards, I don't think they mind driving to Panama City or Marion. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm only one council member, but there's how I feel about it. I say that we have her draw up a big fat no on both, but you all say your piece on it.
No, I agree with you because they've obviously been going someplace else to get it anyway, so. But there's like 67 acres for sale right down here. If we don't do something, they can buy that and go right into there, right?
Well, like I say, all we can do is what's inside the city limits of Vernon.
We can't stop them, the county.
Isn't that in the city limits, the 67 acres? No, it's not.
Where you talking across the bridge?
No, right there at the
There's a
corner.
great big,
About that.
there's a great big lot at the red lot in town that's for sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right there on 79. You know.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're
I don't see it being beneficial to the city of Vernon or the citizens that we serve. And I don't see, I mean, I want businesses in Vernon. I want Vernon to grow and thrive. But I don't see either of those options being beneficial to us in any way. So are we in agreement to have Ms. Michelle draw us up something saying,
Yes.
no?
No way. No how. Yeah, because I didn't talk to anybody that thought it was a good idea.
Do you want to address the sale of paraphernalia as well?
Well, it's like you said, if we need to, but the ones that are already here are gonna say that they're just using tobacco products. So do we need to set up something in case another store comes in selling something other than that?
I mean, I would put it on the books, and I would put that all in one ordinance.
Okay.
I'm just asking, do you want me to also address the sale of paraphernalia otherwise? Because that had come up as part of the discussion.
It's fine by me if the rest of the council agrees.
So another issue that I came across as I was doing the research for this for you all, as well as for some other communities, is the issue of drug testing your employees and your policy on drug testing. And there have been some fairly recent challenges under the Fourth Amendment to pre-employment drug testing for employees that don't have safety-related positions. So I think you all need to take another look at your employee handbook and maybe reconsider your position on pre-employment drug testing as well as random drug testing for employees that aren't in safety-related positions.
What do you consider safety?
Well, that's up to each community to
Like the
decide.
maintenance or something, like maintenance, is that what you're trying to say, that department?
Could be, I mean,
So you're saying drug tested before hire maybe should be taken out as well as
I think blanket drug testing
needs to be taken
prior
out
to employment.
unless there's an incident? I know a lot of places that don't do it at all unless there is an accident or an incident.
It's really hard, and when I read the case law, I understood and I agree with the position on that, but it is really hard to justify denying employment to someone who is, in the case of THC, who is participating in something that the state of Florida says is legal as long as you have a car. I mean, the state of Florida considers this basically to be just like a prescription. You have to go to a doctor, you have to get certified, and you have to carry that card with you. And the regulations are really similar to pharmaceuticals, which is why the legislature decided to preempt all regulation other than how we are allowed to regulate pharmacies.
So could you put that in there, but we also need to cover ourselves if there's an accident or if a citizen comes up and says, hey, I saw or I have found of this going on. I mean, in those cases, we could still drug test, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you can drug test for what you consider to be a safety-related position. And, I mean, just to give you an example, I would consider the fire chief's position to be public safety, probably your public works director, anyone that you anticipate on a daily basis operating heavy equipment or the vehicle on behalf of the city. But there is a difference, especially when it comes to something like THC. There's a difference between someone who's used that over the weekend and then they come to work. They're not intoxicated on the job, but they're still going to test positive if you test them.
What do you guys think?
I definitely agree about the fire chief and public works.
Well, the part about before we hire them, y'all listen, and it don't matter to me, but when I came on this council, I had to go give it around. So did our mayor at the time, which was Candace. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I was called in for one. So
Yeah, I
Candace-
was. Yeah, I had to go get tested when I
I was
became
told
mayor.
all council members had to when they came in.
I would never.
I've never,
Well,
well, I worked here and I never knew that
elected
was the deal,
officials were
but.
getting drug tested.
Well, I was never tested. I know you should have.
Some other council members at that time were also.
Yeah, it was during a certain time period.
I'm gonna recommend that we don't
But then,
continue with that practice.
No, we haven't since, that was
And
under a
I just say that
different
because there's nothing in your charter that allows for the removal. Even if you do test positive, there's nothing that can be done about it, so why?
And what's the point?
Well, I never knew,
Call.
I just got a phone call. I'm sure it's the same way for Candace, and I was told that was the normal.
what, that you had to go? Who told you that?
She's not here anymore, so.
When I come, I never got, nobody ever told me to go get tested.
Well, no, I don't have anything to hide. but-
It doesn't matter to me, I peed in my cup.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if we need to.
And the city paid for that? Didn't we have to pay for that?
Oh, yes, yeah.
The city paid for that. And if everybody, and I would have challenged that anyway, because if everybody's not getting tested, you're not gonna test me.
Well, we were told everybody did.
No, that's not, I've never been tested.
Well, we don't have that practice now, I was just saying, if we need to change something to cover the city, then we need to change something, so, in my
Doesn't affect
opinion.
our grants, since it does say we're a drug-free workplace in our grant paperwork that we.
So that's it's kind of a different standard. Like I said, there's a difference between an employee coming to work intoxicated under any substance, whether it's alcohol or it's cannabis or it's prescription pain medicine or benzodiazepines. I mean, there's all kinds of intoxicating substances out there that affect your ability to do your job, but aren't cause for an automatic termination. That's kind of the question we have to ask ourselves. And like I said, I came across this part of my research looking into all of the issues surrounding cannabis, and it's still really a gray area because possession and use is still illegal under federal law, but I do have some heartburn that if that policy were challenged by someone who wanted to become employed by the city, you would not be successful based on the case law that exists in Florida right now.
So, council, do we want her to tweak
it,
personnel policy?
Yes.
Joey? Okay.
So I will try to have you draft ordinance back for review at your meeting. Is this on track?
And
More than likely
marijuana issue
the next
as well?
workshop.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, she was gonna put down all that in the same one, but different,
So your
Difference.
ordinance is gonna deal with the,
with the marijuana and the other ones, the
and then
handbook.
your personnel policies, but I'll have to look at amending as to when you should be direct testing your employees.
And I hope that all those that have been questioning me watch the video tonight, because I was stopped at a local store the other day and told that it was going around town that city council is bringing dope to Vernon.
Bringing what?
Dope
Where?
to Vernon.
Oh, no, 'cause we never said that.
I'm just saying, so, yeah, if we could, if we're able to have that at the next meeting, it'd be nice to get that passed and be done with it. So, moving on, the last thing I know, everybody start piling up their paperwork, they're ready to go. Updates, Candace, on parking lot striping, the community center door, and entering Vernon signs.
So, did not get that extra bid in yet I thought I was gonna have it today, but he didn't bring it in, so can't update on that because I don't have it. The door, nobody has found anything because of how that's built. I think it's in the grant to replace that entire unit. Can I fix it till then if I can't find a door?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I mean, it's gonna fall off on somebody and hurt them.
The door down at the other entrance that's locked, that doesn't get used,
Can we
can't they
get-
just substitute?
Can we get the outside workers to do something with it instead of you fixing it and it falling on you?
Well, yeah, but I was gonna weld a piece of metal where that's rusted out up at the, I'll ask them. If they're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it if it's
well,
okay.
at least if you're gonna do that, will you please recruit some
Okay,
help?
yeah,
Okay.
I'll recruit some help.
I'll come help you.
And the entering Vernon signs, I forgot.
Okay, so, okay.
You better
I'm gonna
get
throw
on that.
myself under the bus.
Okay, get on it.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything?
No.
Debbie's coming.
I guess the trees ain't planted though. Did he plant them without me? I hadn't even noticed them. He hadn't, it's any day. Run into a slight problem.
Okay.
They will get planted.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Discussion? All in favor? Meeting adjourned.